Hey, what is up? AJ of Fire from Heaven here. Welcome to another video. And this is going to be sort of a tutorial video series that I'm starting. Hang on a second. Can't help but feel like that's not quite the right spot. Okay. Um, so I'm thinking I might just do how-to videos once in a while. Maybe I'll try to do them once a week or something. Um, my expertise is guitar. So that's pretty much probably what it will mostly consist of. Maybe some vocal stuff, some screaming stuff. Uh, if my freaking allergies ever chill out. Because I can barely breathe through my freaking nose right now. But anyways, starting a how-to video series. And going to, in this video, show you how I get a sick metal guitar tone. And basically, I'm going to create a metal guitar tone from scratch, and you are here with me looking at my screen. So we're gonna get right into it. First thing about metal guitar tone is, you obviously want something that sounds great and everything. For what I do, consider what the guitars will, somewhat what my mixes are normally like, I'm going to take my headphones off. Every song, is different in some ways. Gosh. And mixes are slightly different. I never mix a song the exact same way. There are some principles to mixing that I will share that I've learned that I use in every mix. But there's, obviously every song is different, and there's just different sounds, different tones you can go with, and typically when I create a metal guitar tone, there's certain things I'm looking for, but I don't ever reamp my tone to fit with the mix of the song better or whatever. Some bands like to do that. I don't care for it just because it's another step that I don't need to do really, because I have good if I have good sounding guitars, then I don't need to. You might reamp them for certain purposes, for it to just everything to mix better, but I just like having raw metal, you know what I mean? Not crappy sounding metal. Okay, there's a difference. Gosh, I can't freaking breathe. But I like it to sound somewhat raw, and I don't like everything to be perfectly tweaked and produced and mixed. I'm not saying I don't do my best job. I'm not saying I don't work hard at it. I'm not saying I just throw something together. I want a great sounding song, but I also want raw metal. You know what I mean? Too many bands today, the guitars just sound artificial. And I can't stand that. So, I forget you could actually see my screen because I used to live stream a lot, sort of explaining how I do stuff, but I didn't have this set up to where people could see my screen. So I could actually explain what I'm doing and you could see what I'm doing. Frick, my nose, man. Okay. First I'm doing input 1. This is going to be different if you're using different DAWs or whatever. If you're trying to do like what I'm doing, just understand kind of like the general idea of it. Some DAWs you don't have to do an input. Sometimes it's already, it just automatically does this, and that whole thing was just, it's more for what I do with live streaming, but I have it on my computer to help with latency and sound like that whenever I'm live streaming and doing stuff like this, because this whole setup is completely live setup right now. So whenever I plug in my guitars, you'll be able to hear, you're hearing straight up what I'm recording. I'm not doing it like most guitarists where they record the audio and video separately, and they have to sync them. Like, that's a pain in the butt. And that's how I used to do a lot of YouTube stuff, guitar covers and stuff. It's a pain in the freaking butt. And I'm a dad, full-time dad, full-time husband. I work full-time day job, all week long. I got crap to do, and I got music to make. And if I'm going to be creating content, learn different ways to do things that are more efficient. Artists are always whining and complaining. Oh, we can't keep up. We have to create so much content to keep up. Stop being a little baby and freaking be creative, because, that's your expertise. You're a musician. So being a baby, freaking be creative and think of ways to be more efficient with your time. I don't have to sync the audio. I can do whatever the heck I want. That's completely live. It's all going into one thing. I don't have to edit and stuff like that. So think about that kind of stuff. I can totally talk about that in what I'm planning on doing soon, called the Unconventional Artist Attitude. And I'm gonna get fired up on that, guys. I'm gonna get fired up on that. But anyways, this is supposed to be a tutorial video. This is really dragging. Let's get into it. Okay, so I have a lot of things. I have tone forge and stuff like that. These are kind of fun to mess around with. I've never actually created a tone I liked enough to put in a song. I just never got a sound that I super liked with it. Actually, I actually have put for lead tones, I've actually gotten some decent ones, but I just can't, and I stopped messing with them because I got this Helix Native plugin. Just has a lot more options and things to do. I love Joey Sturgis Tones. They have a lot of great plugins and stuff. And Tone Forge, I love their Bass Forge Hellraiser. I use that for all of my bass tones. And I love a lot, their mixing plugins and stuff like that. With the guitar plugins, I've just I have a lot of them, but I haven't been able to get the sound I quite want with them. But like I said, since I got this, I just kind of stopped messing with them as much because I get a great sound with this. So I have a lot of these I kind of experimented with. This was like one of the first ones I made with it. And that was kind of more of a sound I used on Evil Wolf Chronicles. And I think... Oh, shoot. Huh. Well, it sounds poopy. Yeah, something happened with this. But I think that was the tone I used for Defiant for that whole album. This is my lead. Fun to mess around with. That is the tone I used on Hidden Reflections, yeah. This is the tone I actually use normally with my 8 string. That's why it's called AJ Super Chon 8 rather than Chon, because Chon 8. And this is one I'm using right now. AJ Super Chonk 3. Um, so, yeah, I just thought I'd show you those just for fun. We're going to start with a new preset. And we're going to call this... Chonky Donkers. I just like messing around with these. Okay. So, first I'm going to do input gate on. So that's sort of like a noise gate. So whenever I add stuff, it's not going to be, it's just a sound gate, noise gate. So there's a lot of options here. Kiki boost. And obviously, you gotta understand when you're putting together a tone, you're not gonna get what you want right away, you know. Most people probably understand that, but I didn't when I was doing this stuff. Okay, what I used before was Scream 808. That's a popular plugin. I'm pretty sure you can download that for free if you look it up, I think. But I'm gonna use Horizon Drive. That is Misha Mansour's pedal. This is obviously like a digital version, and you could use it on Toneforge. Misha Mansour, that's from Joey Sturgis Tones. But yeah, so they actually have this on Helix Native. So that's what I like to use. The way I like to start out with, and you could use authentic or extended gate range. I usually use authentic because I want to sound real. I don't want to sound artificial like a lot of, especially gent stuff. Sounds very artificial because it's so cut and choppy, and some of that stuff, it sounds kind of cool, but it's just, I used to like it a lot, but it sounds too artificial to me anymore. Trying to think. I haven't put together a tone like put together something for a while. Let's see. Okay. There are options. A lot of things you can do. Excuse me. I'm gonna do an amp next. I'm leaving a space here in case I want to add anything there. Sometimes people will add EQ or something like that, or what? I don't know. They'll add whatever they want. But I kind of skip that and leave it open in case I ever want to add something. And let's see. I like using the line 6 badonk. Excuse me for a second. Gosh. Freaking nose. No, I don't edit my videos. Get over it. I don't care. Don't have time for that. So I'm too busy making metal, being a dad, husband, and working full time. Anyways. Presets, usually decent here. I mean, obviously not with, everything you need for a tone. I don't usually mess with this till I get, the rest of my digital pedal board built. Next part, this is gonna, if you're like, you don't know a lot about building tones and stuff like that, and you get to this point and you think it sounds crappy, and you get really frustrated. Why does it sound so crappy? Okay, one thing you could do here is either add, Helix Native has cabs. So they actually have amp and a cab combo here, so they'll show you like what cabs go well with what amps. I'll just pick a random one here. So basically that helps, that helps with the sound tons. And you can do double stack cab or whatever the freaking correct terms are. I don't know. I've experimented with 2 cabs. I don't know if I really find anything I like, but typically I have maybe 1 or 2 tones that I've experimented with that I use like the cabs. And when you find the right cab with the right amp, it sounds great. But what I like to do is impulse responses, and I have some freaking good ones. I just got oh shoot, I forget his name. Joey Sturgis Tones has tons of impulse responses. I got some from gosh, I forget what they're called, what the company's called, but they have a lot of great stuff. Just look up metal impulse responses, and you'll find a plethora of websites and stuff. But anyways, gosh, I forget the dude's name. I should remember his name, but he does a lot of he's really popular metal mixing, metal producer. I can't remember his name. I can't freaking remember his name. But a few months ago I saw an ad that he had for his own impulse responses. He like mixed he mixes Amon Amarth and stuff like that. Like he's done some really popular death metal bands and stuff. So he has his impulse response collection that's like, a lot of like what's cool about impulse responses is like they're kind of they give like a already set like EQ and stuff like that to make your guitars just sound great. Not all impulse responses do that. These ones like are great. Impulse responses are still great, but you obviously still EQ and stuff. But these ones are designed for metal mixes. So they got tons, and you can use one or you can double stack them. See, that sounds freaking metal as frick. So, I mess around with these. So, he's got some different ones. See how it sounds a little bit different? Ooh, I like that. I'm going with that one. And the thing you do is basically go over here. You want a double stack. And add another one. And you go with Scoop-a-Doop. And move this over here. This over here. I don't know why I do this. I don't know what moving those does. All I know is when I was first watching tutorials on Helix Native, that's what the guy would do. Okay? I don't know why. Maybe you know why? I don't. So that's just what I do when I stack IRs or cabs. So, okay. We can mess around with these. This actually, the one that automatically filled in here is wasn't even the part of the collection of impulse responses I was talking about. But we could experiment with some of those. I'm going down to those because I like those. I can just click this arrow here to switch to the next one if I want. Oops, wrong way. In case you're wondering, you don't have a plugin like this where it has basically everything you need in it, and you just build a pedal board like that. You can look up free plugins. You know, like I said, I think you can find Scream 808. That's a great one for free. So basically, the idea here, the principle is you need for metal. This is what I do: distortion plugin, amp, IR, EQ if you want. And I add, I'll keep going here and I'll show you what I do, and then we'll start tweaking things. So you can add an EQ box here or something and EQ it how you like it. These IRs I just got recently, they make it sound sick, and I don't even feel the need to EQ. You can if you need to, if you want to, if you don't have IRs or whatever. But basically, you need impulse response loader. If you don't have something like this that already just automatically loads IRs for you, look up impulse response loader. I'm pretty sure there are some free ones you can get. So if you're new to this kind of thing, it does take a little bit of time. So like, you know, if you're not very tech savvy like I wasn't when I was first learning this stuff, you just, you know, the internet is a great resource. You can figure out anything you need to on there. You know, if you want to figure out a problem, you're going to find a way to figure it out. It's not that, you know, it's just a little bit of a learning process, but look it up, you know, how do I do this? How do I do that? You're going to have to learn how to install plugins and stuff like that to your DAW. It's not that complicated once you figure it out, but it's going to seem like a lot when you're first trying to figure that stuff out. But it's really not that big of a deal. It's a pretty simple process. This kind of plugin makes it so much easier. So I would recommend just investing in something like this. You know, it's worth it because it saves you a lot of time and energy and frustration. You know, I don't have to go to different websites, buy or download, because there's a lot of free websites that have free plugins you could just download and use for free. They work, you know. Not about your resources, about your resourcefulness. If you find a way to make things like that work for you, you know, just beginning, you know, you're going to be really resourceful, whatever. And it's just going to be even more to your benefit when you know how to use that kind of thing. And you can actually start investing in really good resources and stuff. But back to this, because I could get it on tangents. Main thing, basically: distortion, amp, impulse response loader, some EQ if you want it, if you feel the need, and so that I would put that somewhere here, and then I also add sort of room reverb, and I don't have it very loud in the mix, but it just makes it a little, just slightly more realistic. It probably doesn't really do that much, but I do it just because. So yeah. You know, that's not something you need. You know, you can make a really great metal tone, like I said, with the first three things: distortion, amp, IR, you know, and EQ. I would say EQ just because not all IRs are going to be, you know, like the ones I have. You know, you could go and get these. I should just look it up what they're called. Here, I'll look it up real quick, just so you know. I'm trying to find my file because I thought maybe it would have that. Yeah, I can't find it, but look up metal impulse responses. I guarantee you'll see the guy I'm talking about right away. His name eludes me. I don't know why. And there's tons of other ones out there. But you can always do the EQ just to shape the tone a little more to whatever your liking is. I'm not going to because I like that, and with this, if I really felt the need, I could do a low cut or a high cut. That's a little bit of EQ, but this sounds sick. So, and you can always go back and tweak settings in the amp and stuff, and that helps to. I do tend to cut the mids slightly. Bass. Depending on what I'm doing, So, there is essentially the fundamentals of a good metal tone. A distortion pedal, amp, IR. I should add a lot of these things have things that maybe not all pedals will have. Like my distortion pedal, my Horizon Drive, it has a noise gate. And I have a pre-installed noise gate at the beginning of this input. And I have that on. I could change the settings on that if I want less sound, or I want a little bit more of a raw sound, less of a noise gate. But I have that, and then I have this noise gate too, and I can do that to extend it if I want a little bit more, that clamping down on my noise. That kind of cleans it up a little bit. For jaunting. So yeah, that's basically how I start. If there are certain things that I think need tweaked or EQ'd, I'll do that. If I want a certain effect or a delay, I'll do that. Usually what I do with a lead tone is I'll, boost some of the mids. And I can just do that with the amp. And add a slight delay or reverb, and maybe some, I think, I can't think of the word. Some chorus effects sometimes sound cool on lead tones. Some metal bands do it. I don't know what this will do. I don't know. I don't use that on my lead tones, but you can. Typically on my lead tones, the only difference is a bit of reverb and slightly, some different settings, but that's basically it. Oh yeah, I changed this because I forgot to. So that's how I make a metal tone. And I'm gonna end the video here, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about guitar, that's kind of my forte, my expertise. Um, so I'll definitely be doing more tutorials. But if you have any questions, anything guitar related, I'd be glad to answer it in a video, or message you or something. Let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Stay metal.